So this is what the trunk looks like when the lights are illuminated. We have the subwoofer enclosure here. We have that piece of silver trim that goes up that really mimics the door panels that you see where the handle is. And if you look at this here, the inside edge of this whole piece is made out of acrylic here, but just the edge is sanded here, and that's where that light is coming from. The subwoofer grill is right here, and then you have the pieces of trim. You have the matching carpet, you have the matching Alcantara suede, and the matching vinyl, which matches the seats and the trim and everything inside the car. So the subwoofer enclosure is bolted underneath the enclosure. You have these metal rails that run right here and a piece of plastic that sits over top. So what I do is I take a piece of HDPE or PVC and I put some thread certs in that metal rail and I bolt my piece to that, and it acts as a floor. So underneath the enclosure, I should say inside the enclosure, I have two 1/4-20 Allen screws that bolt down into that piece of PVC where the thread certs are in there. So that's how it physically mounts to the car. So it's very sturdy. It's physically bolted to the car, and there are no pieces of hardware on the outside that lag it down anything. So I made a new cover panel that fits here, and I did a Alcantara suede insert that has the Tesla logo along with the written out version of Tesla there. What this does, it covers my amp panel. So if I pull this up here, put that back there, then we can see the amplifiers in the floor. And I really loved how this turned out. We have a lot of money in amplifiers right here. We have two Mosconi 04 amplifiers and a 01 amplifier. We have the fronts ran active. We have a set of 3-way Focal Utopia number 7 kit. So we have a 6.5, a mid, and a tweeter. And we have the mid and the tweeter on this amp here. We have the rear speakers and the front door woofers on this amplifier here. And we have the subwoofer on this amplifier here. And like I said, I really love how this trim turned out. We have a lot of layers of acrylic. So we have the bottom layer here. We have this acrylic edge here that lights up the amplifiers down below, and it also acts as a ledge. You can see that there is plenty of distance there between the subs to let them breathe. And then we have the amplifier, the 01, that hovers above that one here. And we have more acrylic. This is all one piece here. And as you can see these pictures here of how it attaches together, each layer bolts to the layer beneath it. So it could be taken and serviced, and with each layer of acrylic, we have male, female Molex connectors to have it easily disconnect from the car. So it's very serviceable. We have the lit Tesla logo in the middle as a centerpiece. And then on top of this, we have the Alcantara matching suede. We have the painted silver trim, and we have the matching black vinyl here. So we have all the elements here that match the interior of the car, which is very important when you're trying to make something look like it's supposed to be there. You know, if this was all just one material, it wouldn't look right. It would look very plain. It wouldn't look very engineered. There would be no design element to it. So that's why we tend to use so many materials to match, you know, what the OEM uses inside their vehicle. And it's hard to see here, but this is where the factory subwoofer enclosure was. And we took the factory subwoofer enclosure out, and we were able to mount two lithium-ion Batmobile batteries in the back here that are connected to the front 12-volt lithium-ion battery. We swapped out the factory AGM up front under the hood with a lithium-ion, and have two lithium-ion batteries back here as well. And how these work is they have an AGM charging profile. So it's going to take the same charging profile as the factory battery. And as far as I know, even if the car came with a lead acid battery, Tesla has the ability to update the car with a firmware update and say the car has an AGM battery. So if you are looking to upgrade, say you have a lead acid battery in your Tesla now, which some of the older Model S's did, you can update the car, swap it out with an AGM or a lithium ion with an AGM charging profile, and that way you can have a much longer cycle life. Also, the maximum current of what these can put out is a lot greater than what the factory battery is. So we have the additional batteries to really supplement the additional power that we're going to be pulling from these amplifiers here. Now, there's a lot of taboo with this car saying that you can't really add aftermarket equipment to the car. Really, that's so bogus, and I can't stand when people say that, because this whole car, you have two batteries. You have the traction battery, which is a main battery, and then you have the supplemental 12-volt battery. Okay, so the supplemental 12-volt battery has a sensor on the terminal that dictates when the voltage is dropping, and it's going to then cycle the traction battery to charge it. Now, you have to understand the amount of voltage that this car consumes as it's accelerating. Okay, so when you convert that to what we're drawing on our side from the traction battery, it's really peanuts when it all comes down to it. If you're gonna use some Class AB amplifiers that do pull a little bit more current, then I would suggest adding a battery or two in the back just to really offset the demand for the current that you're pulling. But this is an instant on car. Once you get in, it's on. It's the voltage always stays very, very, very stable. So you really don't have to worry about any fluctuation in voltage, which really makes this car a perfect candidate for an audio system. So now that that's out there, like I said, these amps run fine. They've already been tested for, 2 days with the charging port unplugged. There's really no differential in a normal consumption of the mileage on the car. So really, and that's playing at, moderate to high volume. So that really puts all that speculation to rest there. But like you see here, those are the amplifiers. Very stoked with how it came out. It turns on with the trunk trigger, so when the trunk opens, that's when all this here illuminates. Same thing with the subwoofer enclosure. And if we put this down here, you can see into the interior that silver trim comes and it goes, and when you look at it from down here, it ends up meeting right into the subwoofer enclosure here. So that's where that design element came from, where my silver trim meets up with the silver door trim with the same type of design that you see in the interior of the car. So that's always the plan, is for the equipment we install to look 100% OEM. And again, you can't see the subwoofer in here. We used a Illusion Carbon C10 XL subwoofer, made by Illusion Audio, and that sits about I would say maybe 2.5 to 3 inches behind this outside panel here, but it's all the way in the back. And like I said, you can't see it, but there was a press grill there that was made, and it's wrapped in grill cloth to look OEM. So inside the car here, we have some pillars that I made. We have the mid and the tweeter to the Utopia number 7 kit. That's how it looks there. You can pop those grills off to see the speakers, but again, the grills just add a sense of OEM, protects them. So that's that there. Down here you can pop these off. And that's the Utopia speaker that you see there in the door. So again, the grill just pops on there to cover it, but You see we have a fast ring here to seal the waves of the speaker within from here straight out to the grill. So for the back speakers here, we made a speaker adapter using this Mobile Solutions Animal jig, and what this jig does is it can tilt an angle, and we make a normal speaker adapter, which we made here out of PVC, and we made it traditional, like it's completely flat, and then we put it on here, gave it the same pitch angle that the factory speaker has. We ran it over a surfacing router bit, and what that did is it gave us the exact mimicked angle of the OEM adapter. So we were able to keep the same pitch that the OEM speaker adapter has, because when you look in this door panel, the window motor is right behind the opening of the speaker. There is no depth there. It all has to be created with the angle and the pitch of what we have here for it to fit perfectly in the door. So we were able to use that perfectly with this Mobile Solutions animal template here. So all 4 door panels here were sound dampened on the outer door skin, which is the metal of the door, the inner door skin behind the door panel with focal band material. So everything here in the door is very, very dampened. We also added black hole tile, which basically goes on in a checkerboard pattern, and what that does is going to kind of diffuse mid-range reflections of the speakers. Also, every panel here, like the dashboard, the door sills, the center console, all these panels were taken apart and they were sound dampened as well. So everything that came apart came off and was fully sound dampened and treated. Same thing with the whole floor and all of that. Yeah, like I said, if you have any questions, any comments, I'd love to hear them. Stuff you would have done. If you have questions about the car, want to get your car done, whether it's a Tesla, whether it's something else, you know, you can always reach me. My email is in the description below. My Instagram is in the description below, so you can reach me there. I post a lot of pictures of daily build pics on there, so follow me down there. Again, thanks for watching, and hit me up if you have any builds that you want done or have any questions or comments. I appreciate it.